The power of time, calendars, control, and cosmic rhythms. Time shapes how we organize society, plan our days, and even celebrate our beliefs. Yet, the deeper we look into the origins of calendars, especially those still in use today, the clearer it becomes that timekeeping has often served not just as a neutral convenience, but as a tool of control. These historical roots carry forward, reminding us that understanding how our calendar developed is crucial to navigating our own relationship with time. Moreover, it's essential to remember that our current methods of measuring time, no matter how accurate they may seem, remain subject to change as technology and understanding evolve. Julian beginnings. The Julian calendar, instituted by Julius Caesar in 45 BC, was a drastic overhaul of Roman timekeeping systems, aligning the year more closely with the solar cycle. It set January 1st as the official start of the year, a move partly symbolic, tying the beginning of the calendar to Janus, the Roman god of doors and beginnings. Transition to the Gregorian system. Over centuries, this Roman framework became increasingly interwoven with the Christian world, culminating in Pope Gregory VIII's 1582 reform. Known as the Gregorian calendar, its primary function was to realign the date of Easter with the spring equinox. Yet, in implementing this reform, papal authority effectively extended Christian influence over vast territories and people. Catholic countries under direct papal sway adopted the Gregorian calendar swiftly, while Protestant and Orthodox regions resisted for decades or even centuries. Despite these formal changes, the foundational code, rooted in Roman imperial authority, remains evident. Key structural elements, 12 months, leap years, January 1 as day 1, originated in the Julian tradition. Hence, even now, our sense of order and rhythm often traces back to the logic of Roman Empire power and early Christian institutional authority. Time as a tool of social management. Societal implications of a ruling class calendar. From ancient emperors to modern governments, those who define the calendar effectively define how society segments its year into workdays, weekends, and holidays. By determining which days are holy or set aside for rest, leaders influence economic productivity, social gatherings, and cultural events. Over time, these choices help shape social norms. Work week structures. The Monday to Friday work week is deeply ingrained, steering collective behavior toward a standardized cycle of labor and leisure. Religious and national holidays. Christmas, Easter, National Independence Days, and other festivities serve not only spiritual or patriotic purposes, but also reinforce shared identities under a common calendar. In this light, calendars became instruments of cultural cohesion and, in some respects, control. The naming of months, the days devoted to saints or national heroes, and the setting of holidays all reflect the values and priorities of those in power. Further, the authority to declare and observe certain days as holiday stems from decisions made by councils and monarchs centuries ago. Because of these historical weightings, we sometimes forget that any chosen marker of time, whether it's January 1st or March 25th, was once arbitrary and deeply politicized. Toward a new relation with time, cosmic cycles, and quantum memoir. Experimenting with celestial intervals. While we operate largely under the Gregorian/Julian code, many individuals and groups are experimenting with alternative or complementary systems. The quantum memoir approach is one such experiment, focusing on intervals between celestial events like lunar phases, solar equinoxes, and the apparent movement of the sun through the Zodiac. These cosmic rhythms can offer a counterbalance to purely man-made schedules in several ways. Sun cycles. Tracking solstices and equinoxes encourages alignment with seasonal changes in energy, mood, and productivity. Moon phases. From new moon intentions to full moon reflections, lunar-based intervals provide a more frequent cycle of renewal and release. Zodiac movements. The Zodiac, historically a 12-part division of the ecliptic, is another layer for marking time. A nod to ancient Babylonian and later Hellenistic astronomy. Some practitioners see this as a means to steer personal or collective energies by syncing with the sun's progression through constellations. Why it matters. Personal agency. Exploring alternative time cycles can foster a sense of autonomy. Rather than passively living by a single, inherited calendar, individuals can consciously craft rituals around cosmic milestones. Awareness of these roots can spark questions about how holidays, national observances, and work weeks shape our worldview. Authentic connection. Aligning with planetary and lunar rhythms might deepen feelings of belonging to the cosmos rather than purely to socioeconomic demands. This shift in perspective can be psychologically liberating, helping people see time less as a strict linear treadmill and more as an interplay of cyclical rhythms. Why knowing the history of calendars and holidays matters. Revealing power structures. By acknowledging how the Julian and Gregorian calendars were established, we see that time often functions as an extension of political or religious authority. Recognizing this helps us question default assumptions about what's normal or correct in our daily schedules and cultural observances. Contextualizing historical events. Shifts in calendars can render historical dates ambiguous. Sometimes entire days or weeks were effectively skipped during reforms. Understanding these shifts clarifies why certain historical records, celebrations, or genealogical timelines might appear off by days or even months. Holidays, whether rooted in religious tradition, national pride, or social activism, remain key moments of group identity. Knowing how these celebrations were established can encourage a more informed and inclusive celebration or critique of them. Empowering individuals and communities. The more we see how malleable our timekeeping is, the more we can choose to innovate. If we know that January 1st was selected for reasons tied to Roman gods and Christian reforms, we might designate our own start days or intervals that resonate more personally or align with nature's cycles. All we can know is what our current tools and instruments allow us to measure. Today's technology may make the Gregorian calendar feel precise, but history teaches us that perceived absolutes can evolve and sometimes vanish when new discoveries or instruments come along. Recognizing that we may be living under an outdated or incomplete code empowers us to remain curious and open-minded. What seems ironclad now could well be tomorrow's historical footnote. In conclusion, time is not just an abstract dimension or neutral measure of days. It has been shaped by centuries of politics, religion, and power struggles. From Julius Caesar's reforms to Pope Gregory VIII's refinements, the structural foundation of our modern calendar remains deeply Roman and Christian in origin, wielded by rulers to organize and at times control society through standard work weeks and shared holidays. Finally, we must remember that the calendar's accuracy is only as definitive as our latest knowledge and tools. Today's truths can be overturned by tomorrow's discoveries, a perspective that invites us to remain agile, curious, and adaptive in how we relate to time. Recognizing that timekeeping is neither fixed nor purely scientific, but a cultural and political artifact, invites us to explore new relationships with time, and in doing so, better align our lives with both the rhythms of Earth and the ever-evolving cosmos.